Debbie is on the line in St. Louis, fairly near the Ferguson area. Debbie, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, hi. My name's Debbie. I'm from a suburb in St. Louis, and I've been traveling this week, mostly in Georgia and Florida, and every place I went, all I saw was my town being portrayed as racist. And it breaks my heart because there are so many good people and organizations in St. Louis that want to help these people. They will do so many things, the churches, the social organizations, various groups, and I just want the country to know that. And, you know, that breaks my heart. But something else that breaks my heart is the fact that we do have a huge problem with crime in St. Louis, and much of it is black on black and black on white. And my neighborhood was affected recently that 4 black men decided they wanted to beat up a white suburban guy, and they came to my neighborhood to do it and left the man for dead. And that is tragic. And I would like to know when the black leaders, you said the black community isn't responsible, but I want to know when the black leader.
What is that supposed to mean? Who's the white leader? Do I have a white leader? Can I, who do I get in touch with? How do I call up my white leader? Who would that be?
Okay, well, why are you being so outrageous?
That's not outrageous. I just don't think that there is one.
I just want to understand what you're talking about. Now, hang on, Debbie. We can bring you back here in a moment.
We've been lied to most of our lives and told there's a black community. That's what I find ridiculous.
Let's continue here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. You take control here. This is Free Talk Live. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. By the way, I think it was Debbie who was on the line with us. She had called me outrageous because I responded to her statement that she wanted some kind of a statement from the black leaders. And I asked her, well, who's my white leader? I mean, who do I look to? If the black people have leaders, who are the equivalents in the white person world, whatever that means? It's a ridiculous idea. She called me outrageous for that, and then at some point during the break, she hung up the phone. So unfortunately, we don't get her back here to explain herself. So who is the white leader, or who are the white leaders?
I'm not even sure what race is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're saying who the white leaders are, and I don't know the answer to that. But
the answer is I don't have a leader. I'm my own leader. Thanks.
But I'm not even sure what race is. Looking at what you'll often find when people talk about Barack Obama, he's an excellent example. He had a white mom, black dad. Big deal. I mean, which one is he? He certainly grew up with the white mom, the white grandma, and so certainly grew up in white culture in many ways. Had lots of white friends when he grew up, and then for whatever reason decided to marry a black lady. That's fine. I have a good friend who's married to a white lady. What difference does it make?
To Jeff, he's listening in Charleston, West Virginia, to WVTS. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing there?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Well, what I was going to say is the police, they act like the Gestapo in this situation. These people listening to you there, I want them to know how they treat the black people out there is eventually how they're going to be treated. I think they don't look at it that way, but that's the way it is. And then on the other side, I know this black man, he was shot, and it's a tragedy. But you've got these other blacks that are extorting this tragedy where they can loot stores, and then you bring in the Black Panthers, and they're like the Ku Klux Klan of the blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make that comment there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no justification. I don't care what your skin color is. There's no justification for if somebody gets shot by the police, you go out and then destroy people's private property. It just doesn't make any sense. If you want to go and protest and shout and break stuff, at least go out in front of the police station. At least go out.
Nobody's going to do that.
Right. Go to where the problem is coming from, not the poor bastard who owns the 7-Eleven.
Right. If you're running down the street with a big screen TV, you're the problem, not the solution.
No doubt. Jeff, thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight, man. I do appreciate it. Let's continue here. We've got John. He's in Columbus, Ohio. You're on Free Talk Live, John.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Welcome, sir.
Hey, I've been listening to you for a long time. First time I've ever called in, but there was a good comment there about the young lady who, when you asked her who were the white leaders, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. My brother-in-law once told me, he said, if I get in trouble, don't call Sharpton or Jackson. Don't call them. I feel the same way. They are not my leaders.
They sure as hell aren't going to bail you out.
Yeah. They get out there in the public and grandstand, and they're doing it for their own profit. They're not helping I mean, there was a time way back, I think that, they did serve a purpose, but I don't think they are really serving the purpose of the people.
They're just serving themselves, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's about Jesse Jackson and it's about Al Sharpton. That's what it is. It's about promoting their brand, essentially.
No, they're the Hannitys and Becks for the black folks. They're the same, one and the same. So, but whenever, like you asked the lady, who are white leaders? She couldn't answer that question.
No, of course not. She just got upset about it.
Yeah,
John, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you may be a black man.
You might be right.
Okay. Well, and how common is your viewpoint? I mean, amongst your neighbors, the people you know who are also blacks, do people just generally reject Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and are they just amazed that yet they continue to be called black leaders? I mean, it probably, any news talking head program, they'll probably put under their name on the screen, black leader, as though that makes it true.
Now, there are some people that do follow them, like you said, they're their fans. But a lot of people that in my circle feel the same way as I do. That they're not our leaders; they're spokespeople, and a lot of times they're serving corporate interests.
Absolutely.
Sharpton takes money from certain big corporations. He's not going to go against them if they're doing something against our interests, because that's, he's biting the hand that feeds him. He's not going to do that.
These are also, both of those guys are very socially conservative individuals. They've got political agendas like everybody does, and they tend to be fiscally liberal and socially conservative. And that doesn't match up
authoritarian
with,
then.
Yeah, they're authoritarians. That doesn't match up in many ways with the many in the black community at all, if there is a black community.
Whatever that
many
means.
Blacks.
I'm glad to hear you guys ask that question, because that's something that nobody ever calls them on. Well, if the blacks have leaders, who are our leaders?
Right,
so
exactly. Thanks, John. I really do appreciate your call and the thoughts tonight. Yeah, and if we're ever not hitting the point you think that we need to be making, call in and hit it harder. Here, toll free, 855-450-FREE. And of course, it sounds a lot better coming from a guy who's black, right? I mean, we can make our statement earlier about, well, who's the white leader? But when a guy who is black can call in and say, look, I want nothing to do with these people. It'd be like us saying, somebody saying, well, you guys are talk show hosts, so Rush Limbaugh is your leader, or Rush Limbaugh is the white leader. It's just ridiculous just because he's got a microphone and people pay attention to him.
I don't have a color. You're the one who's white over here. I just don't have a color.
Well, I like that, Mark. That's a nice thing. I like being the human race. That's a good one. Of course, the police state is on display there in Ferguson. Armored personnel carriers, APCs, Bearcat, MRAP, all kinds of violence-looking things are on the streets, men with fatigues and guns, ordering people around. There was a story actually Wednesday night. It was a couple of reporters, one from the Huffington Post, another from the Washington Post. The news media have been using a local McDonald's there in Ferguson to kind of, as their base of operations, if you will. There's Wi-Fi there and coffee, so the news the news guys are going to be there. And the cops came in. They demanded everybody leave the McDonald's, and in the process managed to arrest themselves a couple of reporters. So, and then they were also tear gassing reporters as well. There's video footage of the police shooting tear gas directly at some reporters who were setting up a shot in Ferguson there. And those were all just from a couple nights ago, so who knows what went down last night.
The journalist leaders should step up and have something to say about this.
Well, in the case of the journalists, they do have editors, and their editors did step up and say something about it. But the point you're making here goes back to our conversation earlier about the idea there being black leaders. Are there white leaders? What does that even mean? I'm my own leader, and I think that's the way it is for most people. We've got Dale. He's in Tennessee. Dale, you're on Free Talk Live.
How y'all doing?
Dale, you're on the air. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, I want to express to y'all that I'm 55 years old. I'm black, and I never recall electing anybody to be my particular leader. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go old school and say, I ain't got no stinking leader.
Right on.
I mean, that's ludicrous. And the mindset that there is a black leader, a white leader. Now there are people that use that persona, whether it be political, social, and throughout the community. But that's far from what they mean. We want the black leader to come out here and tell these people to stop. They have a much better opportunity if they were appealing to Beyonce to tell people to stop.
Than
Why
Jesse
haven't
Jackson.
they got Where is Beyonce?
Yeah.
Why hasn't Beyonce stepped up and taken a stand on Ferguson?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.